Thanks, Sid and Keith, for allowing me this opportunity to explain why Pro 356 Consulting is back, again, sponsoring and supporting the Overlap podcast. Number one, I just have found that this is a great podcast, that I share your values of the overlap concept, and I have found just so many great nuggets from listening to you guys. Number two is, I remember when you approached me at Hatch about starting a podcast, and I said, hey, that's why we built that podcasting studio at Coastal, and you guys took it up, and here we are. You've done 100 broadcasts, and now you're on the way to 200. And lastly, I just want to say that I just appreciate the way you guys do business, and I want to associate with you. So Pro 356 is glad to be back as a promoter and sponsor of the Overlap podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Sid Sexton with my good friend Keith Glines with another quick hit overlap podcast production. And for those just kind of tuning in, number one, the overlap podcast is a discussion of the overlaps within life. Life of business, fitness, management, parenting. How you show up for the workout is how you show up at work, and there really is no compartmentalization in life, because getting better in one aspect of life helps you, or should help you, get better in other aspects of life. And then the quick hits are generally smaller hits of some inspirational or thought-provoking podcast topic that is lesser or shorter than our generally 1 hour to an hour and a half podcast topics. And so here we go.
And I've been hearing that people like less of us sometimes.
Well, I hope that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I hope that's a good thing. And that does bring some humility to the studio today, because Lord knows I had a good helping of that earlier today. Well, in the last few days, last couple of weeks, man, have been humbling.
Wow.
Did you try the barbell pullovers this morning?
Yeah, I tried it, and as my feet were sticking up in the air and I'm trying to pull myself over that bar, I'm thinking, not a gymnast.
Not a gymnast. Roger that. I got stuck a few times upside down. Well, not upside down, but on the bar, and didn't know how to go. I eventually figured it out, but it took a little while.
I understand that some people maim their middle half.
Yeah, I heard that got pinched a little.
Yeah, I did as well.
Jeeba probably loved it.
Yeah, he did.
Well, at least you didn't have to do the workout with Gina, who is an insane athlete. And she made him look easy. All of that gymnastic movement stuff just brings even more respect to gymnasts who, I don't know that I really understood how hard that stuff is. I kind of had a little bit of an idea that gymnastics is difficult, but it's insane.
It's insane. The first time you hang on the rings, you're like, I'm just going to hang here. Yeah. I don't know what else to do.
And then some people pull themselves up and get into a muscle up all strict and slow, and then they go to that iron cross where they're holding themselves out, and then they lift their feet. That's crazy. That's not me.
No, me neither. My shoulder would rip out of place.
It would be dislocated for sure. And there's been a lot of no-gi lately. A lot of no-gi.
A lot of no-gi because they're getting ready for the weekend.
For the pans, I know. Scott and I tried to sign up. We were too late. We were had to figure out childcare. Yeah. Oh, well. The multi-day tournaments are getting tougher and tougher to go to.
They have been.
With a full life.
Yep. And,
Yeah.
It's just hard in general to get away.
Man, we would have to leave like Thursday morning, come back maybe Monday, because who knows how late you're going to be done. And, man, it's tough having a full-time job with real responsibilities.
I know.
When it was COVID season, let's go to all the tournaments that are actually open.
Yeah.
Now it's much more difficult. Oh, well. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. other than humility. It really, what I wanted to ask you the question is, what's the best way to manage or parent?
I thought I knew the answer.
Okay.
At some parts of my life.
Oh, okay.
But I think that what I would have to say is with an open mind.
Gotcha. I think if we figured out what the best way to parent would be, we would
not be sitting here.
We would not be sitting here. We would be we'd probably be wheelbarrowing our money towards the bank, you know.
Yeah, that's what I would be doing.
And then like hanging out on a beach in Costa Rica, you know, at some surf venue.
Yeah. If you have the answer to this parenting thing, let me know, because I thought it got easier as your kids age. Nope.
It doesn't?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, that's not comforting.
It's a whole nother thing.
It is. And I believe in true overlap fashion that management and parenting are kind of the same thing. Kind of. There's lots of overlap.
Oh, you're a manager of your home, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to become... There's management principles all in parenting, and there's parent principles all in managing.
Yeah.
Like in the business world.
Well, and so if you want to, you know, you could start by saying what's the best management style, or what's the best way to manage people, and you would talk about management styles, and you would look around and you would see like, oh, the visionary management, where if you're a visionary manager, you communicate a purpose and vision to your team that inspires them to execute their goals. I get that. That's good. The democratic manager.
Yeah, but the problem with the visionary manager, it says, and granting them full control.
Oh, okay. Well,
are you at the place, just kind of like you would hope that your kids get to the place that you could say, make those decisions on your own.
Yeah.
While they live in your house. Never worked out for me so much.
Hasn't worked out yet. Okay. Right. Roger that.
Like all of them. They've made some good decisions, but they also make some crappy ones.
Yeah, and so to a certain point,
just like with team members,
I like guardrails.
Yeah,
I like in a visionary management. I probably relate to that style. We'll get to the rest of them in a minute, but I relate to that style the best. But I like to say, this is where we're going. These are the out of bound markers. These are the, you know, we're going to be guided by these core principles. This is out of bounds here. This is out of bounds there. In between there, I'd like for you to find the best way for you to execute those strategic outcomes that your role is responsible for. Yeah, how you get to that is up to you.
Yeah, there's nothing good that happens after 11 p.m. in parenting.
There you go. Well, I said 12, but 11 works. But I have a knucklehead kid, so I had to do some negotiating, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
But then you got the democratic manager, or management style, as indicated by its name. Majority rules in democratic management, acknowledging that people are key to an organization's success. These type of managers allow their teams to make decisions.
Hey guys, this is Keith. Let me break down a scenario for you. Are you a business owner that is overwhelmed by the options of investing, but you're being told you need to invest in retirement, you need to invest in mutual funds, you need to buy some single stocks? Well, I have your fix. C2 Wealth Strategies, ran by our friend Wes Cody. Their website is c2wealth.com. If you are looking at investing at all and are confused by it, give them a call today. They will be happy to handle whatever you need. He's brought up very specific things that I need to be working on as a business owner in my investing life. Let him do that same thing for you. c2wealth.com, or go to the overlaplife.com page and click on sponsors.
Hey there. My good friend Steve Bousquet and his partner Christine Era, the owners of Green Profit Academy, are super excited about a new product they've got coming out. If you didn't know, they're the authors of Profit First for the Lawn Care Business. And it's a book written by Christine Era Steve plays a big role in sort of adding to that. But they've got that book. It's already out. But if you're an audiobook listener, and you just learn better by listening, they've got the audio version coming out. And I think this is really cool. They've got Christine Era narrating the audiobook, and she does a really good job. I've heard some clips of it. It's pretty fantastic. And Mike Michalowicz, the original author of Profit First, he reads the foreword. And so they've got a book launch that's going to come out on their website, Green Profit Academy, and you should stay tuned for more information about that. They're going to have some giveaways. They're going to have some other special deals going on. But the book itself, the audio book, will come out September 12th. So please be on the lookout for that. And if you need some help with Profit First for your green industry business, please give them a call or look them up, Green Profit Academy. Thanks so much. That sounds terrible. Not terrible, but it sounds like I'm abdicating my responsibility as the leader. And this could be parenting, visionary parenting, democratic parenting. I'm sure there are some democratic parents in California.
That's what I was thinking.
Transformational management, also called innovators. Transformational managers are rooted in change. They push their employees to reach outside of their comfort zone by constantly challenging them to learn and grow, especially if you work in an industry that's constantly changing, like tech or something like that, maybe media.
So I was with a bunch of chefs this weekend.
Okay.
And
didn't think I was going to hear that term today, but okay.
I mean, you didn't see my post from Panini Pete.
I did not.
We showed up.
We showed
up. Another good podcast, by the way. It's called The Raw Ingredients.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
That's
Panini Pete's. Yep, that's Pete.
But shout out.
So we show up. He's doing a VIP book event. He's written a new book and plug for his book too, Spatula Success. But we show up. He thinks he's going to have hands to help. He doesn't. I'm in the kitchen for 8 hours.
Cooking?
Cooking with Pete.
Okay.
Getting ready for 550 people.
Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah.
Did you set up your phone on that time lapse so it could record you in
No, man, that would have been such a great idea, though.
Yeah, that would have been good.
But anyway.
But you got to cook with Pete.
I got to cook with Pete. But, so... like sometimes things don't follow through.
Yeah, they don't. They do not. So there's management styles, there's management approaches, there's management philosophy, there's management theory, there's management strategy, management tactics. What's the best way? I think the point of this conversation is to land on that it depends. It depends. What is the best management style? I think and your question should be, hey Sid, what does it depend on? Great question. I think it depends on the person, and I'm talking about this today because we've been doing, we've had some changes. I think I mentioned this in the podcast several times, but I'll mention it again. What I do is we get a game plan going October, November. We develop a budget and a game plan for the year that's based on what our 3-year target is and what our 10-year goal is or whatever.
Speaking of that, that's like in a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
October is right now.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this, you're probably hearing this in October.
Yep.
But I get a game plan, right? We get a game plan, a budget, and everything else. And what are we going to be by this time next year, And so we set the plan and spend a lot of time, a lot of effort. And generally, we'll come up with 3 plans, like good, better, best, or like middle of the road, 10% off, and a stretch kind of goal, So I guess that's not good, better, best. That's like worst case scenario, right on, and stretch. And then we'll get the season going and start implementing that. And then I sort of set back and just listen and watch. By the time we close out the first half of the year, those numbers start coming in. I've already got a list of things to do. And so now I'm in this transformational time period where we're changing seats and changing roles and, transitioning people out, transitioning new people in. And so I have spent a lot of one-on-one time with people, and I've learned that just like my kids, and I've got 3 kids, all of them respond differently to different management styles or leadership styles or parenting styles. That's what I really meant to say.
One of the things people make a big mistake in running their companies is thinking that they can manage the same way for every team member. And it's kind of one of those things that you have to learn, in my case anyway, especially because I deal with the techies, the creatives, and the influencers, so to speak, or think that they're influencers. So you deal with all of those 3 areas different. You have to manage them differently.
Sure.
And so I don't think there's one style that you can say, this is my style and this is what I'm sticking with. Just like in parenting, all 4 of my kids are so different.
Yeah.
I can't parent the same Annabelle the same way that I do Austin.
Yeah.
Because they're 2 different people.
It is crazy. And we, as leaders and parents, are searching for the silver bullet, I think. And I think that is, I don't think that we're actually being lazy. I think we're just, we are reducing such a large role to one box, and it's impossible to do that. I think we're trying to find the right answer that makes everything black and white, but it's not, because it's people. I think we're trying to find one way so we can systemize ourselves and be consistent, seen as consistent, and have confidence and really some assurances that this is what we're doing is right. But I don't think that that's possible, and that's what I'm trying to tell the listener today.
I almost think that we've done a disservice in the business world because we talk so much, and on this podcast we talk so much about you got to have a system. Sure, you've got to have a system. You got to have a system.
Well, here is the dichotomy of leadership
you
right here.
Hey, you better get a procedure for that. But in management, we're dealing with people.
Yeah. I think what you do should be systemized. Like, these are the outcomes, this is how we score it and stuff like that. But how I inspire and coach and hold you accountable is a little bit different. Let's take my oldest son. I almost have to hit him across the head with a 2x4, or I've got to take something away to get his attention. He'll hear me. It'll be lip service. And I know that, so I give him just enough rope to not do it right. I bring it up one more time, and then there's the second strike, and then the third strike. You give me your phone, give me your keys, something like that had to happen to kind of get the attention, right? Daughter, nothing. One time, people pleaser, really wants to do it, but really wants to do well, so I need to re-encourage that. I need to go, hey, you did a great job there, because she wants to hear that. Do not raise my voice. Do not get frustrated, because that's going to shut her down. And then the youngest, I haven't quite figured that one out yet. He's running around. He's actually the freest kid I have that's not really afraid of, he's not a people pleaser, but he's not trying to do bad things to get attention or anything. He just is free, So
he is very free. I fished with him the other day.
Okay. Yeah, he's free.
And super free. And he likes to, once he accomplishes something, he's done off to the next thing.
Yeah, next thing. Let's move on.
Like you would think, like, I was like, okay, Evan, we caught a fish. Let's do it again. No, done that. I'm done with that. I've already done it today. Out. Let's go.
Yeah, can we go play a video?
But yeah, I'm the same way. So my oldest, who produces this podcast, yelling at him inspires it.
Oh, okay.
My youngest, if I get stern with her, falls to pieces. Not yelling. I mean, and just know this, he's 24 years old, so I can be a little direct. But my youngest, if I show any dissatisfaction, it cripples her.
Huh.
And the same with team members that I work with.
I was going to say, man, the team members, they're all different. Some of them just don't really listen unless I say, hey, guys, I've been saying this for a while. I'm just making sure we're all on the same page here. There will be some changes if we don't get this going in the right direction. I just want to make sure you all know that. I don't want it to be a surprise because I've said it for the last 2 months that this is going in the wrong direction. Y'all are hearing me, you're nodding, but nothing's changing. And I've asked if you need help. I've asked if you need whatever, and I'm not hearing, so just let you know.
And the overlap here, it is really substantial when it's a family business.
Ooh.
And so.
That's tough. That one's tough.
It is tough.
I wouldn't know what it's like to work with my wife. Do you know anyone?
Yeah, me.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah, I got it.
How is that? Is that fun?
Explain fun.
Well, is it rewarding?
It's very rewarding at times and not in the others, and it can come back to bite you sometimes.
Sure.
Like, I would like, and maybe this is a guy-girl thing too.
It could be.
I would like to be able to go to work and work, right?
Yeah.
She can't do it.
She can't.
If I'm like, hey, I've got stuff to do. But if I like blow her off at work or make her mad at work, it creeps into the night. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't like, so I say at the beginning of the podcast, lots of times, no compartmentalization in life. That I really would like to compartmentalize.
Yeah, it would be nice to be able to, and I can do that. Like, she can yell and scream at work or whatever, get angry at me at work. And then by 5 o'clock, I'm like, it's 5 o'clock. It's okay.
Yeah,
let's yell again tomorrow at 8.
Yeah, I can't compartmentalize. I'm feeling that inside and ruminating for hours.
Yeah,
until we solve this whatever problem is.
And it may be a defense mechanism for me, but I'm really good at compartmentalizing.
I'm not.
And I like to compartmentalize.
I do not compartmentalize well. But listener, back to your team member. I do think that it is, if you are leading people, it is our responsibility to figure out what does your team member respond to. I think it's our job to set what are the strategic outcomes of their role, and then what are the ideal critical drivers, meaning what are the activities that it's going to require to achieve those strategic outcomes, then coach them on that. How you coach them on that, I think, is going to depend. Sometimes it's give them a little rope, and because they're not listening, let them fail, let them see that they need to do it your way, and then you kind of get back around. You're being strategic. You're being strategic by setting the course and then letting them fail a little bit. Some people, you can't let them fail because it'll crush them and they'll just leave, but they've got the ability, but for whatever reason, self-esteem, whatever, they can't fail or they'll have to just leave. And some people, you don't really have to do much. I usually call these the right person, right seat. If you just, this is the outcome and they're already wired for that and they just go and get it. And then some people take, slow learners. They forget this or that, but they're honestly trying to do the right thing. They have all the attributes, like they're honest, they're hardworking, they are respectful, they embody your core values, but maybe they take a little while to figure out how do you execute that task, and they mess it up a few times. I can live with that if they're moving in the right direction. I just keep coaching them. But if they don't have the attributes or the core values, it's a hard no for me.
I'm glad you brought up coaching them, but maybe it's our responsibilities as leaders to try to understand our team members, our wives, our children, before we communicate our vision to them. The last few weeks we've had there's a couple weeks ago we had 2 guys back to back that is all about personality test.
Yeah.
And understanding your team members and your family.
Yeah.
So maybe you have to get on something like that where you can really understand who they are.
That's a good point. And if anything, the reason you do that is not to put them in a box or to be able to label them. It's so I can communicate with them better and get through to them. Was it like, is it George Bernard Shaw?
We forget? You know what I think we forget a lot too? We don't mind sitting up in our sales meetings and telling our team members, we're in the people business. Mm-hmm. Our customers, we've got to just appreciate them as people. But as leaders, sometimes we forget that we need to just appreciate and understand our team members the same.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll yell it all day long. I did it today. Just accept them. They're hard to deal with, but just accept them.
Yeah, I usually say the difficult customer makes us better.
Right.
We did something wrong. We didn't communicate. We didn't do something. We didn't set proper expectations. We didn't actually execute, the way we were supposed to. But those are the people that are going to hold us.
So maybe the team member that you have that doesn't think like you or doesn't see the world like you, and you're having a hard time with them, maybe you just need to say you need to strive to understand who they are before you make the determination of what they can do.
Yeah, there's that. And here is really back to the word dichotomy. You got to spend some time. You got to try. You got to try to figure out who they are. Like you were saying, yeah. You got to understand how they respond, what they respond to best. What do they need? Do they need? This is the type of person that needs like a decent amount of reassurance, especially getting off the ground? Or is this someone that you just wind them up and let them go? Is this someone that needs to fail a little bit so they can have some humility and listen? But I got to kind of have an idea of what I'm working with so I can communicate properly, because this is what I was going to say. George Bernard Shaw has a pretty famous quote, and I've always thought this was great. And it goes like this: the single biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has taken place. And what he says there, if you don't pay attention to communication, is, and I hear this so much, is, well, I told them. Hey, why didn't I told them. That doesn't matter if you told them. I don't care. Are you saying that the person that works for you didn't get that done, and so I should just be mad at them even though I'm paying you to manage this? It doesn't matter. But the same applies for me. If the person that's working for me on my team that's not getting XYZ done, me saying, well, I told them, doesn't help. It's still not getting done. So I got to dig in a little bit. How did I tell them? Did I tell them in a way that they could hear me? Did I just say it? And I say this all the time: hallway management, passing you down the hallway. Hey, take care of blah, blah, blah. They've got 100 other things going on. They just forgot about it. Is my communication formal? Do I follow, or is it one-on-one verbal? And then I follow up with an email to recap our conversation. I mean, there's lots of things that you can do. And do I blow up at my team member, or children or spouse or anyone else when it doesn't go my way, and I haven't really thought about like where my part is in it first. I start losing all kinds of credibility when that happens, you know? And so back to the question, what is the best way to manage or parent? And I'd say it depends. There's lots of different ways. I think I would say that figure out how you're communicating and go and start there first. Did they hear you?
Yeah.
What say you?
You want
to take us out?
Think about parenting. How many times have I said something in my house and it wasn't heard? Yeah. And then was like, I told you that.
Yeah.
Make sure they hear.
In parenting and management here's another overlap is, number one, I'm talking to my 15-year-old and she's 15 and I'm 44. There is a tremendous gap in experience and understanding, because a 15-year-old's got 15 years, not even 15 years, probably 10 years of some understanding. And a 44-year-old's got, well, a lot more. And so I'm trying to communicate like I would to the 44-year-old self and not slowing down enough to explain what the 15-year-old needs to be explained to connect those dots. And same thing with a team member. I've been in this industry for 25 years. You know, I went to school. I've been to multiple schools in multiple, I wouldn't say countless, but tons of conferences and things and all kinds of all books, tons of books, probably 100. I've been to tons of other landscape companies. I've seen a bunch of things, and this person's been in the landscape industry for 3 years and on our team for 5 months. And I told them. Well, how did I tell them? Did I tell them in a way that person at that level can understand it, connect the dots, and then execute? Did I slow down enough to give them the communication that they need so they can be successful? Because if they come on my team, or if, I choose to raise a child, it's my job to do everything I can to help them to be as successful as possible. And I think it starts with controlling how I coach or parent them.
And a lot of that has to do with being able to listen.
Yeah, and just being humble enough to know my part in this.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good enough for today.
It is.
That's a little bit longer than a quick hit, maybe, or we're right on time, but we're good. So hopefully you got some inspiration on that, or thought-provoking. Think about how you're communicating to your team. Stop using the excuse that I told them with your kids or your team. And if you got any other questions, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn.
You've been a little better on
I'm trying
some LinkedIn.
Forrest is all over me about LinkedIn. I'm going to be a LinkedIn influencer before too long.
Oh, yes.
I probably won't, but I'm going to try. I'm going to do better. Hey, appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for supporting our sponsors. Thanks to our sponsors for making this podcast possible. And until next time, peace.
Peace.
Okay, guys, everyone knows if you're a business owner, a business leader, or you're just a person in the world needing help with accounting, you need a real partner. You need someone that's going to listen to you and not just plug numbers in to make their job easy to do your taxes. At least that's what I want. I've been through a lot of accountants in my life, and I have yet to find one even remotely as good as Johnny Barranco. He's the owner of Barranco and Associates, and he's the kind of guy that really doesn't manipulate your books to make his job easier. He really is trying to give you insights into your business or into your financial planning world. Whatever your goals are, he's there to help. And so I just encourage you to give him a call. Barranco and Associates, look him up online. It's barrancoandassociates.com, and just see if he can help you. He really is the accountant that I recommend to everyone, even before he was a sponsor of the podcast. So please, if you need an accountant, just do yourself a favor and give him a call. Let me tell you about one of our sponsors, Chris Drogmiller. He's with CMD Fencing. One, I really appreciate his support to the podcast. He listens to the podcast, but long before that, he has done several projects for me at my home, at our business, and the dude just does an awesome job. One of the things I really like about him is it's basically just him and someone that helps him. His attention to detail is phenomenal. The work is always high quality. If you've ever had a fence built, you know that the gate itself and how it opens and shuts is kind of the stamp of quality. It always works well. I've made him make some interesting kind of fencing where it's all horizontal. He had no problems with that, did a great job. And the guy is freaking awesome. He's easy to work with and he does a fantastic job. He's a firefighter. So, he works 2 days on and 2 days off. So he comes in and knocks my project out on the days that he's off. And the dude's awesome. You can find him on our website, overlaplife.com. You can find him on Facebook, CMD Fencing. And let's see, his phone number is 901-484-5546. So if you need a fence, need some fence work, call Chris Drogmiller, CMD Fencing.